dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Moore. We join you with some breaking news. Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. A spokesperson for Biden says he was diagnosed Friday and called it a more aggressive form of the disease. Biden and his family are now reviewing his treatment options. CBS News White House reporter Willie James Enman joins us now from Washington. Willie, what else has Biden's office said about the diagnosis so far?
Hey there, Jessica. We're getting this statement from the former president's office just moments ago. I want to read that statement in full for our viewers. It says last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. And then it goes on to say on Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of 9 with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive effective management. And it then goes on to say that the president is reviewing those treatment options with his family. Now, this isn't the first time that the Biden family has dealt with a cancer diagnosis. Remember, the president's late son, Beau Biden, was diagnosed with brain cancer and passed away several years ago. So surely the president's family is circling around him with this diagnosis, and we'll wait to hear more from the former president's team.
Yeah,
Jessica.
absolutely. They're no stranger to the cancer journey. We understand his doctors have said, even though it's spread to the bone and it is a more aggressive form, there's something about it that makes it more treatable. You're hearing it, that it's hormone responsive, right? Isn't that what they're saying?
That's right. In this statement, they're saying that this is a more hormone sensitive type of cancer, which allows for effective management. But remember, the former president is an 82-year-old man. A lot of the reason why he stepped down was because of some of the concern about his fitness to continue to serve as president if he was elected to a second term. Certainly, this is a diagnosis that was not something that a lot of people would have thought of for the former president, but certainly something that his family will have to deal with now in terms of that treatment plan as they look forward to how he's going to not only deal with this health crisis, but how he's going to mentally deal with this as well, because certainly this is a diagnosis that a lot of Americans, millions of Americans, have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that touch many families, and it has touched the Biden family in the past with the death of his son, Beau Biden.
Such a good point you bring up there. And Willie, have we heard any response from the current administration, the Trump White House?
Yeah, well, President Trump spent the day at his golf course in Sterling, Virginia. We have not heard from the White House in terms of a statement with the former president's diagnosis of prostate cancer. We'll wait and see if the former president posts on social media or addresses the media here. We are, of course, staged here at the White House. But for now, we have reached out to the White House, but no comment just yet, Jessica.
We know you'll be staying on top of every development. Willie James Inman, thank you. Stay with us on CBS News as we continue to follow this breaking story, and we'll be right back.
And that was the breaking news of the day. Joe Biden diagnosed with a pretty rare, well, not rare, but aggressive form of prostate cancer. He don't have much time left. He's like they say, he's 82. He's probably been suffering from this for a while. This is something that I don't think that just popped out of nowhere. It kind of answers a few of the things that were happening during his presidency and how, like, though just the way he was, especially his last year. I think they knew already that he had this kind of form of cancer, and they kept it secret. And now they know that it's very aggressive now, that it's going to be probably terminal for him. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Let's go ahead and bring me into the centerfold here, and let's turn on the cameras here. Yeah, welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and breaking news: Joe Biden finally was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Well, they try to put the sympathy part. Oh, his son died. Of this is a different cancer. He died of a brain cancer. Joe Biden has prostate cancer. There's two different types of cancers. So I don't know how they try to tie in Beau into Biden. They always do that and try to make it like, oh, we're supposed to be like, I don't think so. It's just, come on, man. Like Biden needs to say, come on, man. Yeah, come on. He don't have much time to live. He doesn't. It's he's probably so bad right now. Like he's not gonna make it. So he's 82 years old. The cancer that he has, it's pretty much guaranteed that he's gonna die soon. It's sad, but it's life, and we all gotta die at one point. That's my biggest fear is kind of dying, because the fear is the unknown, not knowing where you go after life. That to me is like feels like bungee jumping, or I don't know, parachuting, or jumping off a plane, skydiving. Um, it's a leap, and you leaped into this world, and you're gonna leap out of this world and into another dimension. And the fear is the not knowing where or what or what's next. People, don't worry, when you die, people won't remember you. Nobody's gonna remember you. You fall into like dust, and no one, not even me. And I've been on here for a long time, and I won't be remembered. People will watch maybe in the future and stuff, and I hope they do. But I won't be remembered down the line. People forget you. They always forget. And that's the reason how we are at this day and age. Everybody forgets the past and they just keep moving along, and they live for tomorrow but forget what happened yesterday. But Biden doesn't have much time. He really doesn't. I give him, I don't know, I can't even diagnose that amount of time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a few months. I would not be surprised if we hear, that's it, he's gone. And these people really thought he was gonna run again in 2028. Like I don't understand, especially like The View. The View is like all up on him, and you're gonna run and you're gonna be president again, and they're trying to hype him up to run again and be, run for presidency. Like, oh man, he needs to. Now with this diagnosis, he cannot be president. He won't be president. That's it. This is pretty much the white flag. It's over. It's done. He's at his final lap, and he's gonna go out without even being punished. He's the most luckiest man. Like, he won't be investigated. Like, I think they're doing this. I don't know. For me, the energy is telling me that this is being done on purpose, and that the release of the video, or the voice call, well, the recordings from the doctor and Biden, where they had sent someone to his home to to do a cognitive test, type some kind of cognitive test, and then he did horrible, and it was just all over the place, and it was like he shouldn't have been president. There's no way he could have run this country. And the fact that they just threw him there like a puppet, and then just put his Joe wife next to him, and she was pretty much trying to run the country, and they did horrible. One of the worst presidencies. It is the worst presidency. I'm not going to say it's not. It is the worst presidency of all presidencies from all around the world. I think Biden is the worst ever. Let me put my phone down a little bit. I don't know why it's making sound. There we go. And then they try to compare it to Bo, but Bo had supposedly had brain cancer. So how does brain cancer relates to prostate? I don't get it. It's not the same type of cancer. Yeah, you can have cancer in the family. Everyone has cancer. It's when it activates. I have cancer. I have throat cancer. So it's I don't how aggressive it is. That's what's the most important. Mine's is not like I have it under control. I just every year have to have surgery, and they have to go in and remove, or I always have to do every year surgery for my throat. So, and I take medications and stuff, and I'm feeling okay. I'm not 100%. I'm not nowhere near that. I'm been having up and down days. I never have a steady good like consecutive of days. It's very hard for me these days. But yeah, that's his time is up. His time. He's not gonna be penalized for his dirty deeds. He's not gonna get in trouble. He's gonna get away with a lot, just like his son. His son Hunter got away. Give him a full slate pardon. For how many years was that pardon? Oh Lord, that's a long time. And yet, his dad's gonna be gone soon. I mean, they're still gonna go after the family for all those properties, and I know they don't want to stop the war between Ukraine and Russia, is because there's a lot of information of the Bidens, and not only the Bidens, but Obama, Hillary, all those people. I want to say allegedly. I don't care. Um, but there's a lot of dirty deeds in Ukraine, and there's a lot of like dirty, especially Biden, Hunter Biden. Oh Lord, Ukraine is like kryptonite. Like they, I don't know. There's just so much things going on behind the scenes, and everyone's so distracted. No one pays attention to what's going on. But I understand, because people are busy. People live lives. They have their life to live, and they got to take care of themselves or their family, or they always have some kind of responsibility. Got to pay bills, got to work, got to this. It's like it's modern day slavery. It's distraction. But a lot of things are going to be happening, like awkwardness. This is like the time. It's weird, because if Biden would have ran and won, which would have been super iffy. Like, I don't even know how he won the first time. I still question that day. Allegedly, right? But because I asked you project, right? I do that a lot, and I always jump around and look at things, and it's kind of like jumping in and out. It's like being a jumper, and just seeing the things. And if Biden would have won, he would have not lived out his full 4 years. He definitely would have been done within his, like, not even finishing his first year. I could see him going pretty soon. So he's not going to be punished. He won't face any judge. He won't face any criminal anything, unless they do it. They still do it while, yeah, he's dead, but they can still like run the case, and whatever, they could do that. But at that point, then it's like all they doing is just grabbing his things, and that's it, and selling it off, and then maybe the taxpayers could benefit from it somehow, some way. I doubt it, but it's just like a missed opportunity. I feel like time wasted. I feel like the Bidens should have been investigated a long time ago. They should have been like, these people should not have been running the country at all. The fact they try to put Kamala in, and that's another clown. I'm sorry, but she's just, I think she was the one that fell off the coconut tree. She fell off the tree. And then the coconut hit her in the head. Because that's the only explanation that I can have to like feel from like what I feel from her and the energy she gives out. She gives out that like that doofus energy, like Officer Doofy. It should be Officer Kamala. It's like she's really not good. She was not good. If she would have won, we would have been in a really bad position. And it's weird because everything is tying in because but the Bidens have something to do also with the Diddy and his network of craziness. I'm sure Hunter Biden has been to one of those freak offs, allegedly. But I feel the energy of him being a part of that and the drug life on that end. I'm sure they knew each other and communicated with each other, especially Hunter. Gotta remember, Diddy was really heavily within the Democratic Party. He was a major donor to the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party, I think it's just a bunch of crooks that are in that party. A lot of they're opportunistic crooks. And the very selfish, narcissistic behavior. Um, and it's so sad because that party wasn't like that before. Like I would say, it started changing in the late '80s. It started changing. Like probably in the '80s, it started changing. But it's just gotten to the point that it's like the point of what? The point of no return. That party is doomed. They just really ruined it for themselves, and they don't really care. I mean, maybe the end of maybe that May 27. Well, I did that story last night, episode 3, uh, about about the Ouija board and how they were saying that May 27th, 2025 was going to be some kind of like main event, or some kind of like some big event supposed to happen, and we're supposed to feel like 10,000 earthquakes at once. I'm like, well, maybe someone very important dying could feel that way. Um, it's just really crazy times right now. Really, I'm like, it's hard to surprise me. But we'll see what happens. This show's not gonna be a long show. I'm only gonna be here for like, let me see, be here for another like 33 minutes. I'm only gonna do 1 hour. I need to rest up myself. And I came out early because it was breaking news, and at least it's recorded. And for those who are watching and rewatching, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. But Biden is about to kick the dust. He's about to kick it. He's gonna kick the bucket. He'll die. He'll be investigated no matter what. I think that's why they released those tapes. They released the Biden. Let me see if I can find them. I know I have it here somewhere around here. Maybe I could see if I can find it, but I have a feeling that he's gonna die soon, and they'll still investigate him, but he's not gonna, you know, he won't get in trouble because he won't be, he's not gonna be here any long. He's gonna, that's it. His time is limited. Yeah, his time is very, very limited. Let's see. I just have a feeling that it's not gonna live long. Then he's just, it's just the what bothers me is that hold on, let's go ahead and just open up a little segment on this with let's pick out a news agency. Yeah, because the Democrats, well, I learned the word gaslighting from the Biden administration because that's what they did the most, was gaslight people and deflect, and try to make like everything opposite. And it's just, it's so crazy and so weird. And I can open up a couple of windows. We could see two of the news agencies. I'll go with Fox News because I'd rather listen to Fox News. And let's go with that. So let's go over here and let's break it down. And let's show you guys what I'm talking about with the interview. So let's go ahead and split this here. Let's come on.
Of Joe Biden's 2023 interview with special counsel Robert Hur, shining a harsh light on the president's cognitive ability as he struggles to speak and even remember certain key dates in his life. Watch this.
And what's happened in the meantime is that Trump gets elected in November of 2017, 2016. All right. So, why not 2017 here?
Here to discuss is co-founder and president of Real Clear Politics, Tom Bevan. Tom, we've read the transcript in the past, and it reads badly. It sounds to me far worse.
I agree. I mean, the audio is always worse than the transcription. Video is usually worse than audio, but we don't have that. But clearly, I mean, this just shows another example of, remember when this report came out, how Robert Hur was attacked. And I know someone who knows Robert Hur who said this guy has a sterling reputation, and they attacked him. They smeared him, and they kept this from the American public. The administration, kept this audio from the American public. And it's just another example of how we were lied to. Everyone's calling this a cover-up. It wasn't a cover-up. We all knew it was happening. This was gaslighting of the highest order by the administration and the media, who in large part went along with it all the way through.
You know, Tom, what strikes me here, at least in part, is the timeline, because this was an October interview that happened in 2023. And then the debate, the famous debate with Donald Trump, happened in June of 2024. That's a long time in between. The report from Hur was put out during that interim. And as you said, people jumped all over him. The Democrats, the media, just savaging Robert Hur, his reputation, his integrity, pillorying him. And then the debate happens, and they're all like, whoa, we had no idea that this could happen. Who is this man? No, they all knew. And anyone who was privy, certainly, to a moment like the October 2023 interview, or many other instances like that, Tom, had already seen that Joe Biden for years.
That's right. We've got reporting going back as far as 2020, or maybe in some instances even before that, showing examples of Joe Biden's decline. And what's most infuriating about this guy is that and I know, and I think everybody who's watching this show knows, had Joe Biden not fumbled so badly, not failed so badly on that debate stage, the charade would still be going on. The media would have, and he might have potentially won. He could be in office right now. Given these circumstances, they would still be lying to us. And by the way, even after he dropped out, he was the president of the United States for 6 more months in this condition. So I keep saying this. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is probably the greatest political scandal in American history, certainly of the last 50 or 60 years. And there's a lot more reckoning that needs to come along with this.
Yeah, and the audio that we've been playing from this interview, after that day, that man continued to be, at least nominally, president of the United States for nearly 500 more days as the lies were just all over the place. Meanwhile, I want to turn to this. Jake Sullivan, the former national security advisor to President Biden, just recently claimed, I didn't know about any of this stuff. I was totally stunned by what happened at that debate. Well, apparently, the president misidentified him multiple times, called Jake Sullivan Steve. Sullivan says he doesn't really remember that, but how do you forget that?
Yeah, look, I don't think we've ever had, and I know Donald Trump gets dinged for lying about this and he exaggerates, but I don't think we've ever had an administration who had more contempt for the American people than the Biden administration. From day one, they were telling us, don't believe your lying eyes at the border. It's not a crisis, and on, along with Biden's mental fitness. And so I don't think that we can take Jake Sullivan or anyone who is close to him at their word. They have lied to us before. I don't know why they think they should have any credibility when they say something that is clearly doesn't pass the smell test with most folks. And by the way, Jake Sullivan was one of those unelected bureaucrats that were in the White House that were running things while Joe Biden was doing whatever Joe Biden was doing, whether he's at the beach or whether he wasn't there. And that was something that people want to know, who's running the country? Well, Jake Sullivan was one of them. And again, I think he needs to be held to account for that.
Yeah, not just a liar with shot credibility, quite arguably at times an acting president of the United States while all this was playing out. It's actually an extremely disturbing thing to think about. And it's in a brand new light given this audio that we brought you on to talk about this morning. Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Guy.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Ryan Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
Special counsel Robert Hur has just dropped it. It was obtained by Axios. And the 2-day interview, remember, happened in October of 2023. And after that, Hur described Biden as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. I said at the beginning of the show that was a very, very charitable way to describe how Biden came off now that we've heard this key part of the audio. Here he struggles to remember when his son Beau died. Watch.
We were living in Chambers Road, and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden or the cancer shot or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period, except the president. I'm not a mean thing to say. I mean, he just thought that she had a better shot of winning.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
That's
and
wild,
catch our hottest
man.
interviews and
You
most
didn't know what the
compelling
hell he was
analysis.
saying.
You will not
You don't
get it
know
anywhere
anything.
else.
What he was doing, the man was just off. So let's go to the next one here, and this is more about the doctors are diagnosing or breaking down. So the next one we're going to watch is doctors breaking down Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis. So let's go ahead and watch that.
And Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst. Let me read again from that news release that we got from former President Biden's office, doctor. It says he was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, with metastasis to the bone.
Oh,
that doesn't sound good, doctor.
No.
Gleason 9, John, means that it's in a very aggressive form of cancer.
Yeah.
And group 5 means that within that, it's the most aggressive type. That means it has the highest risk of spread, which obviously he has had. He's presenting with urinary symptoms, and I want the viewer to know that most of the time, prostate cancer will be asymptomatic. When it reaches the point where you already have urinary symptoms, that's also a sign that it's pretty far advanced. When they say that it is hormone responsive, that likely means that they think by decreasing testosterone, it can be a testosterone-dependent cancer, that it will respond. The two types of therapy they use for that is one called Lupron, which stops testosterone production, and the other is a drug called Casodex or like Casodex, which stops testosterone from binding. They also might decide, and I don't know this, but sometimes they decide to do more than one therapy. They might try to take the prostate out, do radiation and the hormone therapy all together. That's not uncommon.
He's not strong enough for that, though.
Of men over the age of 80 have some prostate cancer cells in their body. So this is a very high likelihood in all men. And if it's this far advanced, meaning Gleason 9 metastasized to the bone, the 5-year survival rate is somewhere between 30 and 40%. Again, depending on how well he responds to therapy. One of the questions on everyone's mind, and you just heard this from the reporter, is what about last year's PSA? You know, this was found by physical examination, by a prostate exam. A lot of times we find an elevation in prostate-specific antigen, a PSA, and then we go after it, get an MRI. I mean, he must have had the best possible care here. I'm a little taken aback that it's this far advanced and very, very concerned about it.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask you. This is a former president of the United States. He's supposed to be getting, as you said.
Hold on, let's hold this for a second. All right. If it's that fast, since he last did an exam and supposedly maybe he was okay, they faked it or something because they didn't announce it or nothing. And maybe they just didn't say shit. But if they declared him healthy at that time, and from that time that he did the exam until now, and he's at a level 9 and a 5, this dude is going to be seeing 6 feet under. Like, wow. Those are not good numbers. I'm sorry. But it was super fast. So if he went from that, like what, not even a year. When did he do his last exam? Because Trump took over in January. He must have taken an exam sometime around this time of the year, maybe a little later he took the exam. Because they're supposed to take an exam every year. And if it got that fast in 1 year and he's at that level, 9, high Gleason 9, 5 at the highest of the group level, this man is a dead man walking. He don't have much time to live. Let's continue the story. I got about 8 minutes on here. So let's go ahead and let them continue talking and we'll listen in.
Say the best medical care in the world. And yet, just a few months after he leaves office, this prostate cancer is advanced enough that it has metastasized to the bone. That's just not good.
No, and then we don't have enough information for me to be sure of the following statement, but I want everyone to know that the PSA, though, I think it's a really great test, and I do it on every male over the age of 45. Sometimes it can be low. And
I do my test every year.
It's not 100%. I'm not saying his was low. It wasn't written as I don't recall it being indicated there. But if it's high, you go after it. And again, to reach the point of symptoms, we most of the time we can diagnose it before. Although, it may very well be that he's hormone responsive, and that's what we're all hoping and praying for here. We're looking to see what the radiation oncologist says. Are they going to give radiation? They've advanced radiation therapy dramatically for prostate cancer. They can target it. They can use seeds. It has less side effects than it used to. And the same thing with robotic prostatectomy is unbelievable now at getting the prostate out. So a lot of times the prostate would be taken out. They would give radiation and then give the hormone therapy. They're not saying that at this point.
It is, as you say, one of the most treatable forms of cancer, but you have to catch it fairly early, right?
Well, you have to catch it if you catch it while it's still within the capsule, within the prostate itself, it's curable most of the time. When it's metastasized, like here to the bone, much less so. And again, this aggressive, very, very concerning, means that it probably spread pretty fast. They might try to radiate that lesion they found on the bone. They're definitely going to give hormone therapy here. They'll know more in a few months about how responsive it is. When the goal is to get it before it leaves the prostate. When it's left the prostate, it becomes much more difficult to cure.
Dr. Siegel, stay with us for just a moment. We want to check in with senior White House correspondent.
He's going to end up laying in the state.
Peter, obviously, you were there at the White House for the full run of the Biden administration. Are you as surprised as I am at this news regarding the former president? We're looking for Peter Doocy, our senior White House correspondent. Peter, are you able to hear me?
Well, I'm here.
All right. We have lost our connection with Peter Doocy, but we will try to reestablish that and
You lost Peter Doocy. We'll bring in Rick for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is really aggressive cancer. I'm surprised that it wasn't caught sooner. Like, when was the last time this man had a prostate exam? That's where I would like to start. Maybe, checking his records and making sure, the tests were done properly and so forth. Because this has happened really fast. And to be that aggressive at the highest levels is already spreading. I think this man's a dead man. He's a dead man. He's gonna take his secrets and he's gonna die with them. Yep. This is a special place for him on the other side. I know that for sure. He's not really gonna get away with it. But it's truly sad that this old man here ruined our lives for the past 4 years. Surprised that Trump is working as fast and as hard as possible to make up for those 4 years that this old man couldn't never achieve. Like, they're in awe. I mean, they were so astonished by Trump and the reception that the world gave to Trump just last week. Like Biden's administration, his cabinet, some of his cabinet members were like, man, I wish I was working in an administration that worked this fast. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like they're in awe because Trump is making up for the years that he wasn't in the office, and he's trying to make it up and also serve out the 4 years that he has in front of him right now. That's a lot, and he's able and he's capable of doing it. Biden, on the other hand, look what's going on with him. Look at the energy, that negative energy. You bring in that negative energy into your life, this is what happens to you. It's just not a good place. And a lot of these Democrats need to really start calming down a little bit because they're too aggressive. they're very aggressive. And like, sometimes it's okay to lose. I learned how to lose when I was young. Like, I was playing football a lot when I was young, and I would love to win, and I had to learn to lose because I wasn't in a good team. So there was times that I was like, man, they could be better, and it took time to get better and better, and with practice and a lot of practice, you get better. You get better with repetition. You continue doing it, you learn. But this old man, I don't know about this old man. He has a lot of secrets he's taken to the grave. A lot of secrets, especially with the Diddy, the Epstein, all these people allegedly. Like, he's taking it to the grave. He's been a part of it. He's been a part of it, the Bohemian Grove. He's been a part of a lot of like secrecies. This is the man that actually showered with his daughter. So, like, go figure. But allegedly, right? Since they want to play opposite, we could play opposite too. Allegedly. But let's send it back to Fox News. Since Ducey wasn't around, I took over the segment for a little bit. Let's go back to Fox News.
Get back to him in just a moment. In terms of other symptoms, other problems that this might cause the former president, the fact that they're going to be treating him for this prostate cancer, Dr. Siegel, is there anything in particular that is going to afflict him? Anything particularly from this treatment regimen?
That's a really great question. And that's one of the reasons I'm thinking maybe they would take the prostate out, which is to decrease that amount of urinary symptoms. And the same with radiation. I'm assuming it hasn't gone anywhere else than the bone, not to the brain, not to the liver. But the other thing I'm concerned about is bone pain, because those metastases to the bone can be pretty painful, which is another reason I think they would radiate that too, and try to decrease it so it wouldn't cause pain. But the other thing you're alluding to is, what about the side effects of the medication? And they can make you pretty fatigued. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing. They make you pretty fatigued and listless.
They do, and they make you weak
and not quite yourself. So That's what we would look out for the Lupron. For sure, he's going to be getting Lupron.
All right, Dr. Siegel, again, stay with us. We have reestablished our connection with senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey. Peter, I mentioned before, you were in the White House for the run of the Biden administration. Does it surprise you that just months after he left office, we're finding out that he's got a fairly advanced case of prostate cancer?
Ducey's not there? Oh, man. Do I have to come back?
Obviously, the gremlins are in the audio room tonight because we cannot establish.
Well, they got the gremlins, but they got Rick too. So I could come back on here and speak a little bit. Wow. This he's just been out for a few months. It's been what, 4 months, 5 months? Today will be 4 months since he's been out of the White House. And within that short amount of time, he has the most aggressive cancer that you could have, the highest levels. Like, this man's a dead man. We're watching a dead man here. And I won't be surprised. Maybe that, I'm telling you, that May 27th, that Ouija board thing, I don't know. Maybe maybe that's the earthquake. Biden dying. That would be a crazy, like, wow. Like, the Ouija board came with those binary numbers and it was translated and everything. And they were saying something important, something really big supposed to happen on May 27th. I'll be here live on May 27th. I'll probably come on early and stick it out and see what happens. See if we get that 10,000 earthquakes, and maybe it's someone very important dying. It sometimes works that way. That's what I thought last night. That's what I mentioned. Maybe it's someone important dying. That could be like the shock and awe, like shock the world. Like, but man, that's aggressive. Like, even the medication too. That's a really aggressive medication. That medication is the type of medication that will put you out on your butt. It'll put you on your ass. The fact that I'm thinking he did The View not too long ago, and so you're telling me that this man had the highest levels of cancers, and he went to The View to plead or make his case or some sort. I don't know why. You lost, buddy. That's it. He took you to the back, and he's like, he threw you. He's like, here's all your stuff. Get out of here. Go back to the beach. So he went to The View and he was sick. And I wonder when they truly found out this information. I truly wonder when. Because this with Biden has been so secretive with him. He's the most secretive president. I thought he wanted to be the transparent president. Bitch, you was no transparent nothing. You were like a brick wall, and it had a titanium middle, like in the middle of it, so you can't penetrate it. Like, this guy was very secretive. He's the most least transparent president of all time, the sneakiest president, and the most, I would say, like, mafia type of president. Of all presidents of the world, this guy was a true crook, and I could see all his dirty deeds. He's done so dirty. He's a nasty man. He's just even the train's confirming with me. The train is like, that's the train of truth. Let's throw it back to Fox News. Man, what's up, Peter? Where the hell are you, man? I know the gremlins are back there. They're tearing up the place, but that's no excuse. Call in. If you can't get on camera, man, just get your phone and call in Fox News and just speak it out over the phone, dude. Come on, man. Like Biden used to say, come on, man.
A connection with Peter Doocy, our senior White House correspondent. So, Dr. Siegel, again, you're not treating the former president, but obviously you know a lot about how this is treated, and the success rate is generally pretty good, you're saying. But we can expect some tough times, maybe some uncomfortable times for the former president.
Here is going to be how quickly he responds to early treatment. He's already having urinary symptoms. You want to reverse that so he doesn't get urinary obstruction. Again, the bone pain. And I suspect a full court press, and over the first 3 to 6 months, we should know how well he's responding. It's both good and bad that they're saying that it will be responding to hormone therapy. That's good, but the aggressive part of this is bad, that it's been identified as a Gleason 9 and Group 5, which is the most aggressive kind we have. And it may very well be this is why it spread so quickly without your question to Peter Doocy, anyone knowing about this. It would be really surprising if they weren't doing a very close screening on this, because everybody knows in the medical community that this is the one cancer in men you really look out for. And as I said, 80% of those over the age of 80 years old have some prostate cancer cells, no matter what. He doesn't seem to have a lot of risk factors that I would think about other than age, but age is enough, and he's 82, so that's a big risk factor.
Yeah. I get that PSA test every time I get my annual physical, and my doctor watches the numbers very closely. You're saying, though, that the PSA test isn't always a perfect indicator.
We have middle ranges here, John. We look at trends. If it's under 4, we call it normal. But if it goes from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, we start to look carefully at that trend. And then usually we have time, at least months, to decide what to do next. I'll tell you the other thing that's advanced dramatically is MRI of the prostate is hugely different than we were talking about it 10 years ago. It targets things. It finds abnormal areas. It can give you an index of suspicion in a particular area. It can zone in on where they think the prostate cancer is, if it is that. So somebody with a rise in PSA automatically gets an MRI, and then the decision is made whether to do a targeted biopsy. This is not that situation, because in this situation, he already had advanced symptoms and he already had advanced and metastatic prostate cancer. Again, horses out of the barn. You definitely don't want to see that. Doesn't mean that he won't respond right away, and we're hoping he will.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Pretty aggressive.
You will not get it anywhere else.
That is pretty aggressive. You could watch one more. I think I have one more to watch, and then try to wrap it up. But it's kind of crazy how fast, like, something's up. Something doesn't make sense. Something smells like shit is bullshit. You know what I mean? Something's not right. And let's throw it to me for a little bit, and then we'll come back here and I'll show you the last one. When something doesn't smell right, it's not right. You know, it's not something's. If it's shit, it's shit. And I just believe that they knew about this. You know, they really wanted Kamala to take over. And the old man is stubborn. He's a stubborn old man. He loves power. The dude loves power. He's just not. He's like, yeah, I pick him as best president, but like, he knows deep inside, Biden knows allegedly that, you know, Kamala was a DEI hire. So, you know, she really did not earn it. She was selected and kind of pushed to her. Like, and they try to run that play. It's kind of like a dossier. They try to run that dossier, and it just didn't really click, you know. And then they just let her speak, and you could tell she's just not the one. She's just not the one. She's just a very weird individual that we gave her a moment of time. And yeah, she's just not the brightest cookie of the bunch. She's not really that good of a person. She's a horrible person. She has secrets too. She's trying to be governor of California. That's crazy. That's like going backwards, right? Like going from vice president of the United States, one step away from being president of the United States, to dropping all the way back to be a governor. Like, help me make that make sense. Help me. It don't make sense to me. It doesn't. I don't know. Like, go back to your corruption. You're good at it, right? Not really. She's corrupt too. Like a lot of Democrats are corrupt. You know, like they drink that Kool-Aid and it was laced. That's the problem. You know, I learned, you know, these Democrats are very slick. They're slick. Too slick. You know. they'll sell you a dead horse. And they'll tell you that it's all good. It's still alive. But you look at it, you can tell it's a dead horse. But they'll still tell you, no, it's okay. Look, we can have Bernice. Okay. Let's see this last video, and then we'll talk from there. I'm going to set it up.
Breaking news out of the White House about former President Joe Biden. His office just revealed that the 46th president is diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Let's check back in with Madeline Rivera. She is live at the White House for us. Madeline.
Hey, John. So, yes, we just got this information within the last half hour or so. So I do just want to read the statement from the personal office of former President Joe Biden. It says, last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be more hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. So there have been a lot of headlines and concerns regarding the president's cognitive health. It was one of the reasons why he was pushed out of the presidential candidacy last year. But there have been very few headlines and concerns regarding the president's own physical health. In fact, I went back to see what the president's results were from his annual physical last year, and it said President Biden is a healthy, active, robust 81-year-old male who remains fit to successfully execute the duties of the presidency, to include those as chief executive, head of state, and commander-in-chief. So it is kind of shocking at this point. But the president, I've been thinking back to some of the activities that we've seen him do. This is a former president who was very active. We could see him go biking in Rehoboth Beach whenever he would go down there with his family. He was very physically fit and very active, at least for his age. So this is shocking news. Of course, we are waiting to hear more information. Now, of course, Biden, being the former president, will be afforded some of the best care in the country, but he is 82 years old. So there are understandably concerns about how his treatment may go as well. But I do want to refer to one part of that statement. Again, they say at this time that this cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. So there is that hope that the president will be able to withstand whatever treatment he does go through. But again, at this point, this statement says that this is an aggressive form of bone cancer. Prostate cancer, rather, excuse me. So we are waiting to hear more information that we could see come out of this news today. John.
All right. Thanks very much.
You got it.
Yeah, that's pretty aggressive form of cancer. Yeah, he ain't gonna have much time to live anyways. He's gone downhill, and that's it. It's just we gotta see what they're gonna do. He's gonna lay in state. They're gonna go ahead and he's gonna, put his body in the Capitol, and Trump's not gonna do him dirty that way. He's gonna still, lay him to rest as a president, as a former president, but he knows the secrets. He knows what Biden did. He knows, the corruption the country was in after taking over office. He knows everyone who and is still having DTS. Damn, that's nuts. Biden at the highest level of cancer at 82. You see, from 81, they said he was in good health. Oh, but they don't tell you when's the last time he did the colonoscopy test. Did he do his colonoscopy test that day, or when was the day that he did that test? Because they're not sharing that. I guess because of HIPAA, they can't tell you whatever. But I mean, it was cleared out on that probably a year ago, let's say, or less, maybe less. I don't know. maybe it was maybe a half a year ago, but let's say a year. That's pretty fast from going from nothing to the highest level of cancer. I'm just saying that's pretty. Ugh, that's not good. That's not good at all. He's a dead man. Is he gonna suffer? Yeah, I'm sure he's suffering right now. Everything, his family's trying to, they're huddled up together and deciding what steps to take. I got to make sure the will is written out and who's getting what and so forth, and executing the will probably execute it probably before he dies, but have it signed off and all that, and everything's all taken care of, and just try to make him comfortable, and he'll end up passing away, and let's see how Trump will treat him. Trump, I think, he's not gonna shower him, but he's gonna respect him, because he was president, even though if it was whatever, because YouTube will censor. Whatever happened in 2020, the truth will come out. You know what I mean? Even it's gonna happen after Biden is gone. The truth will come out, and a lot of people, are gonna get in trouble and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of corruption. That's the way to drain out the swamp is to investigate and figure out the truth and find the truth, and do the proper investigations, and everything's happening for a reason, man. Everything's happening so fast for a reason. It's like, man, look, see everything before you go. See everything. Like we're not holding back. Everybody see everything. See the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But Biden's not in a good place. He's not in a good place. I'm sure they know he's done for. It's okay. He lived his life. He took the road he took. He was successful because they got him to the top. And he will always be known in history. Good or bad. For me, I think he's the worst president ever in history. But others will hold him like a god. Like, it's very weird. It's very weird. But if you know history, this dude is the worst. The worst. So to go out the way he's going out, maybe is well deserved. Yeah. Maybe they ran out of seashells at the beach when Comey did that stupid shit with the beach. That was so dumb. And the way that 86 and the 47 was just, it was just too perfect. It's like someone had to do that. It's not like magically a wave came by and put those shells like that. They'll know if those shells, because they'll investigate it, and I'm sure you can pull up DNA on those shells. I don't know. It's just weird. Comey's very weird. That dude's always been weird. And the fact that he was the head of the FBI is just like, how the hell? Like, that's the corruption. That's how deep it went. The deep state is really deep, man. If you know about the deep state, all that Illuminati stuff, they go really deep. But the light is starting to shine, and a lot of these gremlins are starting to get captured, and a lot of them are starting to perish also. So the gremlins we're catching the gremlins one at a time. Epstein was one, Diddy, and the list will keep going. Remember the subway guy? What's that subway guy? I forgot his name. You guys will know. Jeff, was it Jeff, or I forgot his damn name on the damn subway. He used to be on Subway. The creepo. He's such a creep. There's just a lot of the industry was very toxic, and it still is. Hollywood is very corrupt, very like not. I guess they're not making, like, they're not really truly banking, and a lot of the older generation are dying out. So like the elders, they're dying out. So like there's, they come down the tree, so it's others that are taking over. And I think they're kind of like, I don't know, just when you're born into that, it's just a weird lifestyle, because you gotta understand they're just very on the upper class, and they were born with a gold spoon in their mouth, and it's just a way different life. And a lot of them were part of that, Bohemian Grove stuff, and a lot of them are really successful individuals that participate in those type of rituals and those type of like craziness. But there's a lot of people that do that around the world. I know people that do rituals and stuff. But the government and, some groups used to do it, and the Bohemian Grove they do it all the time, and Bilderbergs, that's another group of individuals that people really stop talking about them, and they're not mentioned as much, but they need to be continuously be monitored and talked about. But a lot of people just forget, they're so hooked into the matrix that they only can comprehend what's in front of them every day, and not like really take in what's really the truth, and what break down things from the past and figure out the truth. But for me, I think I'm different, because I jump around, and it's just start seeing things and putting things together. And it's pretty nice to do that, but not a lot of people know how to do that. I do live for today. I look forward to tomorrow, but I could always jump back into the past and start just jumping around and seeing things, and figure out the truth. Right. But it was a good show. I had a good time. I'm tired. It's Sunday. Biden has prostate cancer at the highest level, and I did an hour and 17 minutes. I'm tired myself. I got physical therapy tomorrow. I gotta go. I have actually aquatic therapy. I'm in the swimming pool doing therapy in the swimming pool. My neck is just like being a little crazy. I have an assist in my spine, where my equipment is, and the doctors don't want to go in there to get it out, because they're scared about like me coming out paralyzed. So they're really nervous about doing the surgery. I was like, I really need some really good professionals to look at this. So I may have to go to Florida and see my surgeon, my neck surgeon out there. But that's here or there. I got a lot of things I gotta get done myself. Everyone, just make sure you take care of yourself. Life is short. Life is it's a short ride. You know, it's long. It feels long, but in reality, it's very short. And who knows where you go once you're done, right? Like, I know I believe we come into static and we turn into energy when we pass, and we turn into static. It's like static, and it's just energy, but in another dimension. And those that are maybe lucky, they could be reincarnated and live out a process again. And there's many of them that happens. Yeah, it's the cycle. It's unexplainable. Like, dying is very unexplainable, and Biden's gonna go through it right now, and it sucks. I know it's already penetrated to the bone. It's already spreading. Biden doesn't have much time, and it's okay. That's fine. May he rest in peace. But we know that I know the truth. We know the truth. Trump knows the truth. He knows the truth, and it'll be up to him to, if he wants to expose the truth, because a lot of people are going to get in trouble. That's the thing, a lot of people are going to get in trouble, and so be it. It's time to, like, bring back accountability, make accountability great again. That's the MAGA way. Make accountability great again. Yeah. I'm gonna go for now. I'm tired. Talking about tired, I am. The weather's just been like, my body's been feeling a little off. So I'm definitely gonna get off of here. Thank you for those who passed by and those who are gonna be watching this. Yeah, you got a piece of my mind on this show. What I think about Biden. Well, you just got a piece, because if I tell you how I really feel about him, but he's going through it as it is, so he's paying for everything right now. So don't worry, he's getting his, and the universe will take care of him. They always do. So with that said, I'm done and I'm out of here. You guys continue to have a great weekend. It was a beautiful day. I mean, here it's been raining off and on, and it's been muggy, and the humidity's been a little up. My body's been aching a lot, so it really sucks. It really does, but it is what it is, and I'm done. I am tired. So have a good one, and I'll catch everyone on the flip side, and I'll see if I can do a show. If I don't do anything tomorrow, I'll make sure to do it on Tuesday, depending how I feel, because the pool is going to be a lot for me. The pool is very aggressive with me, but I'll do what I can. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.